From 24-hour cable news, radio, web, and social media coverage, it's nearly impossible to avoid hearing or seeing something about political scandals involving sexual allegations. Whether it's former Congressman Anthony Weiner sexting nude photos or women accusing Mayor Filner with graphic descriptions like these.
And he got very close to me, and he ran his finger up my cheek like this, and he whispered to me, "Do you have a man in your life?"
So I turned around, and he proceeded to take his hand and pat me on my posterior and laugh.
I turned, and he just slobbered down my chin, and I was so violated.
How do you explain complicated topics like sexual harassment to children and teens? Here with some age-specific ideas is licensed family therapist David Peters. David, welcome back.
Thanks, Peggy.
What do you say to a child, let's start there with a school-age child, let's say, if they start asking about these sexual harassment allegations?
Well, if the child's heard the news, there's very little that you can hide. And they're on the playground hearing the news from their friends, and they might be hearing the wrong thing from their friends. And so I suggest explain as much as they're capable of understanding. Don't hold things back. The mayor is accused of touching people underneath their clothing. It's really bad. He's accused of saying nasty things, and how would you feel, Johnny or Susie, if someone did that to you in front of people or when they closed the door? How would you feel if someone grabbed you? Let them understand the gravity of the situation.
And you've said this is really quite an opportunity to teach your children about some of this behavior. How much detail, again, let's say, is it age specific? How much detail do you really tell them?
Well, I like to find out how much detail they know first. So I ask my kids questions. I ask a teenager questions. What did you hear? What did they say? And what do you think about that? And then once you find out what they've heard in the details, then you can match it, and you can maybe push beyond that if you think it's appropriate. I like to match the details to the age of the person. But, you know, once your child has heard something that it's beyond their age, you pretty much have to explain what's meant by it. It's a teachable moment. Don't be afraid of this opportunity. You know, every life is filled with crises and wonderful moments, and during a crisis or a wonderful moment, it's a time to teach about life, the nature of our society, what's expected, what's not allowed.
How do you talk to teens? Because certainly that's different. They have raging hormones going on. How do you talk to them about this?
Definitely so. With teens, they're growing, they're changing every year. With your adolescent males, they've got a higher level of testosterone in them every year, and there's no owner's manual on how to use it. I like to talk with teen boys about boundaries and about their own impulse control. We've got grown people showing terrible impulse control. Well, you know the impulse control of teenagers. And I like to, in a mixed group with guys and girls together, to talk about what's okay, what's not okay. You know, when guys are joking about this and having fun with it, because they see on television it's being joked about, I like to let them hear from a girl's point of view. You know, ask his sister, ask a female friend of his, how would you feel if someone grabbed you and forced their hand underneath your clothing and tried to forcibly kiss you? What would that be like for you? Let her disgust and her anger be present in front of your son so that he can see, wow, this is serious, this is not acceptable, this is not funny, it's not worth joking about.
What about for parents? What should they avoid doing or saying?
Well, you want to avoid overreacting. You want to avoid lecturing. You know, oftentimes when we're anxious, we come on with a lecturing tone with our teens or our kids. And it's more a time to invite a discussion. It's really a good teachable moment. It's a terrible time, but it's a wonderful teachable moment. It's something to take advantage of.
How much does parents discussing these sort of topics, these kind of complicated innocence till you're proven guilty or sexual advance nuances, how much does it actually affect a child's behavior?
Well, if we're not talking about it, we have no influence on our kids' behavior. What's the influence is the media, their friends, the current jokes, what they've seen on YouTube. If we have an ongoing discussion with them about life and about what's safe, what's unsafe, and what behavior we expect of them, then we have a lot of influence over them. If they feel a bond with us, then they belong to our tribe, and our tribal expectations are the rules of their behavior.
So they do listen to their parents over the media?
If you've got a good relationship. They're not going to listen to you every time, but you do have influence.
Okay. Marriage and family therapist David Peters, thank you so much.
Good to be with you, Peggy.